I'm Heather from Here Booktubes, and I am thinking that today is going to be a nice and quick video.
You're hilarious.
You who can see the end time know whether that turned out to be true or not. This is my toxic book traits. I have 6 that, I do. I own it, and maybe they're not like the best, but they're me. Number 1 is picking up a book or series right where I left off. If I read 40% of this book 2 years ago, I'm picking up at 41%. I'm picking up right where I left off. If I read up to book 6 5 years ago, I'm starting book 6. I don't really know what's going on, usually. My memory, not great. Do I know who this character is? No. Why? Because more than one of you starts with the letter A and I can't keep you straight. But, I'm just muddling my way through, trying to figure out where I'm at, who you are, what we're doing, all of that. So I never start over. I never reread anything in order to continue. Sometimes I will reread things for the sheer enjoyment of it, but I have literally never, in the history of my reading, in the last, 28 years of reading, I have never reread a book to have better context for the book I actually want to read. I don't do it. Sometimes, I know I reread the Queen's Thief series, but that was because the final book was finally coming out after like 20 years, and I just wanted the optimal experience. I wanted to know all the things, and I really think that's the only one that I've read because there was a new one coming out. And if I didn't want to reread that series, I wouldn't have. But it was a reason, and I am really glad that I did that. But Kate Daniels, I read like the first 10% maybe of book 6. And then 2.5, 3 years later, I just picked up it. I didn't even start book 6 or book 7, whatever it is, the one after Europe. I just started reading there. And sometimes that does lead to me not being interested, but I don't care. Another one is that I just DNF'd is the End series by Kristen Ashley. I read the first 2 books 2 years ago, tried to read book number 3 and didn't care. And then their Vampire Queen series by Jodie something, I read the first 70% of book 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that, and a couple years later finished the last 30% of the book and didn't continue the series, just read that part. I don't know, I just and it honestly, it gets under my skin, and it doesn't matter because other people's reading is their reading, so it really has no bearing on me. But when people are making their TBRs and stuff, and they're like, well, I really want to get to this book, but I would have to reread the first 5 books. I'm just like, that could never be me. That would never happen. It's never gonna happen. Just that I would either read that book and hope that I could figure out where I was, or I would never read the book.
I think it might be my next video after this. I don't know when I have everything scheduled, but is my next vlog a vlog of me finishing or rereading a series because the final book is coming out and I'm really excited about it? Yes. But I don't think 2 times in the history of a reading life is a lot. So,
and it would not be on my to-do list at all. I hate nagging to-dos. I have enough of those because I procrastinate everything in my real life, especially if it's paperwork or a phone call, or you have to fill out a form, or anything where there's one little detail that I'm not too sure about. I will just push it off for probably years if we're if we're being really honest with each other. It's bad. But for something that I just want to do, I am not keeping that book on my TBR for years. In fact, that's another thing. Here's a bonus one, is that I delete, I don't really consider this toxic, but I delete books off my TBR. If you're just sitting there and I haven't bothered to like even like think about really picking you up, I just delete you. I forget about you. You're gone. And then like you're no longer in my mind. I really like my Goodreads to be like under 40 books on my want to read list. And I basically will not keep a book on there for more than a couple years, like at all. So I will forget who recommended it to me, what it was about it that I wanted to read, why it's on my TBR. If I can't remember any of those things and I don't still have like the feeling of wanting to read it, it's gone. Then I don't believe literally anyone when they tell me I'm going to enjoy a book. It is a problem. It is like a neuro issue. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. If you say, Heather, I think you'll definitely enjoy that, I don't believe you. It's like a red flag on my ability to pick up the book. It's so neurotic. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And I know it doesn't make sense. And I try and tell my brain, you love a lot of the same books. They think that you would like it. You would probably like it. But I don't listen. I really have to, like, if I'm watching, like, Steph at Novelty Corner, who we have so many books in common, if she says, Heather, you like this book, can't read it. But if there were like 5 books that she was talking about and I decide that I would like one of those books, well, that's completely different. That's my idea. My brain came up with the idea that I would like that book. So it's completely different and it's fine. And I can read that one. Make it make sense. It doesn't. Then I don't feel the need to give individual books or even authors as a whole a fair chance at all whatsoever. I cannot abide. I love you. You're fine. Do your reading. You don't have to do what I would do, but I cannot abide people that are on books 2, book 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of an author, and they have consistently disliked the author and they keep trying to give them a chance. The 3 strikes you're out rule is way too much for me. Way too much. I just look at that like it's madness. Truly, why are you wasting your time giving this author multiple chances? They're for somebody, right? The most popular to the least popular are for someone. And if that is not you, that is no big deal. You do not have to force it. You do not have to try and make it happen. I will easily DNF an author in the first 10 pages of a book and just decide that they're not for me. I will easily read a 4-star book by an author and decide that I'm not really that interested in the rest of their backlist. If I read 3, 2, 1 stars from you or more than 1 DNF, unless you have already given me a bunch, this is where like it's a little bit toxic. If you've given me a bunch of 5 and 4 stars and then I read 1 that's like not that great, I DNF it, 3 stars, 2 stars, that's fine. Kristen Ashley, that I've DNF'd her books. I've given one of her books 2 stars. I've given a couple of her books 3 stars. There's been a couple that I haven't enjoyed as much. Doesn't matter. She's my favorite author. Why? Because the first like 25 that I read were like 5 stars. And sometimes I know that like if I picked this book up first, this favorite author of mine would never have become a favorite author. I would have decided that they weren't for me based on that one book, when I know that I love 55 of their books. It doesn't matter. It will not change my mind about not giving a different author another try. I just won't do it. I don't need to read 50 pages. I don't need to read 100 pages. I don't need to give them more than 1 chance. I don't need to do any of the things. You can just leave the TBR, because the TBR is never ending and I am managing my TBR. And part of how I manage my TBR is I'm not interested in your books are not available at the library, Kindle Unlimited, and or I can't remember why I put you on the TBR, and or you've been on there for too long and I'm obviously not going to pick you up. Like, and there's always books to read. There's always books to read, even though I feel like I'm pretty ruthless with it. Then one, this is where my procrastination thing comes in. One extra step will keep me from reading your book. Do I have to sign up for a newsletter? I'm not doing it. I don't check my email. I could not tell you what's in my email. Do I need to go on BookFunnel? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It takes me like 15 minutes of trying to figure out how to get that book. And I'm literally not doing it. I will wait till it goes on Kindle Unlimited. NetGalley, I'd have to sign up. I'd have to sign up. I'd have to figure out how to send those books to my Kindle, and I am technologically challenged. I know that, like, you know me from the internet, so this might feel like a lie because I'm clearly here. I can't do it. I can't troubleshoot a single solitary thing. Every new thing will take me so much time and so much energy and so much like anxiety because it's not working. The simplest thing will consistently just be a problem. And it's honestly part of why it took me a while to start my channel, because I was just like, sounds terrible. Like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna have to learn editing. This is gonna be bad. It really wasn't that bad. It was surprisingly a lot better than people made it sound. But I am supposed to sign up for a free Philadelphia library card because I live in the state of Pennsylvania. It has been on my 2023 goals since before January. It's July, middle of July when I'm filming this. It's the 18th. I know, I'm early. I've got vlogs and stuff that I need space for footage. I am unlikely to ever listen, I'm gonna sign up. I have it on my goals list. I have it in my reading journal. I need to be able to check it off. I want to do it. But I procrastinated a solid 7 months at this point. So do I need to sign up for a free app? I'm not doing that either. Do I need to email a publisher for an ARC? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. How would I even find their email? Listen. And then someone else can be like, here, let me help you. And they will like give me the information I need. And I will still be like, oh, I don't know about this. Okay. I am a little bit ashamed of this one. I'm easily talked out of reading a book by one mid-review. I really have to try and not look at reviews on Goodreads and stuff before I read a book, because I will bail. I will not read it. I will be like, oh yeah, I don't like that either, and I won't read it. I have a book right now sitting right there that someone gave like 3 stars to and mentioned a thing that I also hate. And I was like, oh, I don't like that either. I'm probably not gonna like this book. It's not really fair because there will be 25 stars and then I'll read the one that was like, the whatever was so annoying. And I'm like, oh, that is annoying. And lastly, I am a self-insert reader. I always have been ever since I was a little kid. I honestly thought it was a thing that we all did. Like, I thought that was just how you read. You are the main character. You are the one fighting these things. You are the one falling in love with this person. So because of that, all of my preferences do kind of tend to get projected onto the main character. I'm just like, oh, I wouldn't like that. So it annoys me that you're fine with it. Or see, here's where the delusion sets in, because I am not a super athletic person. I am definitely not a very skilled combat person. But in my mind, I'm slicing and dicing. We're in a sword battle and I have got this. I've got this. I've trained for this. I can you know, put myself in that position, and the fact that that is not me has no bearing on my enjoyment. But you forgave that man when he did not even explain a single thing. No. And or you keep like catering to this person that's toxic and annoying and like using you, and I'm just like, put your foot down. No. We're not doing that. And or you make the man grovel for forever. I hate it. Why? Because as soon as you say you're sorry, I'm pretty much over it. Sometimes you don't even have to say you're sorry. I don't stay mad. I don't stay mad. I want things back to like good, and I just don't stay. I can't. Can't do. So when they like are a year later or a month later or 6 months later and they still haven't forgiven them for like a misunderstanding, I just can't abide it. It is so annoying to me because one, I would have wanted to talk it out. I want to communicate. I need you to tell me what's going on in your head. So I would have wanted to talk it out. So I wouldn't have avoided them, ghosted them, any of that in the first place, because we were in a relationship and I want to know like what your answer is for this thing. So like I need communication, and then also as soon as I get that communication, even if I disagree with it, I feel like I'm still okay with moving forward. Not necessarily where like you did something unforgivable and I'm just gonna stay with you, because that's not really how I work. But just like in general, we had some sort of understanding or some sort of fight or whatever, and you were like, hey, like I'm sorry, or this is what I meant, or whatever. While I might be upset in that moment still, I will get over it. Even if I kind of hold like the smallest grudge in my heart, I can still like get along with you and I can still have a relationship with you, right? Whether that's friendship or coworker or family member or whatever. So that's a lot of information about me. Anyways, back to self-insert. I don't like when it takes them forever to get back together, because I would want to talk about it. I would hear you out. We would make some decisions based on the communication, because in a romance book, they always get back together. They always get back together. So you're not even talking about someone that you should leave and stay away from. You're talking about you're gonna get back together. So why is it taking you so long? Because I am over it. Yeah. Also, like, I think that's part of why I don't like the fame trope, or I don't like I don't really love a super ambitious main character, because I am not trying to work 18-hour days to get to the top of my industry. I want to be at home with my books and my coffee and the quiet and my family. Like, that's what I want at the end of the day, which is why it's my life. Right? That's why these are the decisions that I've made in real life, because this is what I enjoy. It makes me happy. It's what I want. And if it wasn't, I would pivot, right? And I would go do something else. I mean, I wouldn't abandon my family at this point, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't like the way my life was, I would take steps to change it. But the fact is, I took steps to get here because this is where I wanted to be. So I'm not like super into characters that their career is their life, I guess. Even like the love interest. I'm just like you need to put the work down, and you need to have a life outside of it. I am not about hustle culture at all whatsoever. I mean, doing what you have to do to take care of yourself and or anyone that relies on you, that's one thing. But just this more and more and more and more and more, and never stop and never not be running and stuff, like, that's not for me at all. I would rather have less things and have a better life. So anyways, that's a lot for a random Tuesday, or whenever I post this. It's Tuesday when I'm filming, so you know. But yeah, so that is the thing. Anything I don't like, I also don't like for my main character, because you are me. and I am you. I will say, I think that I have done this a little bit less in the last few years, but definitely still kind of a thing I do, and it was like my whole reading experience the first 20 years or so. So that's it. Those are my toxic book traits. I'm pretty sure I talked a lot more than I intended to.
Indeed.
Thanks so much for watching. If you do this, tag me, because I want to see other people's. Like, I want to know what you think is toxic about your reading. So thanks so much for watching. Bye!